Yeah, what if the life you actually want already exists right now in a parallel reality? And what if the only reason you're not living it is because you keep accidentally choosing not to? There's a book that's been passed around in quiet corners on the internet for years. Not really a self-help book, not exactly a physics book. Something stranger and much more specific than both. It's called Reality Transurfing, written by a Russian quantum physicist named Vadim Zeland. And the core idea is this. Reality is not a single fixed track. It's a vast, infinite space of possibilities. He calls it the space of variations. And you are literally moving through different lifelines every single day based on your energy, your thoughts, and your relationship with importance. Today we'll break down the key ideas. Think of this as your field guide into quantum leaping into a new lifeline. Zeland opens the book with a concept that sounds like theoretical physics, but lands like mysticism. He says that all possible events, all possible versions of your life already exist as a wave structured in an infinite field, the space of variations. Think of it like a cosmic hard drive. Every version of you, the wealthy version, the heartbroken version, the version who took that leap, they all exist simultaneously as potential realities. Your physical experience of life is just one of those tracks playing out. Now here's where it gets interesting. You don't create your reality from scratch. You tune into a reality that already exists, like changing a radio station. The frequency you broadcast determines what lifeline you'll land on. So the question isn't, how do I build the life I want? The question is, am I currently tuned into the frequency of the life I want? Most people aren't, and Zeland spends the rest of the book explaining exactly why and how to fix it. This next idea is one of the most powerful and honestly kind of an eerie concept from the rest of the book. Zeland says that human thought energy, when it's shared collectively, creates autonomous structure he calls pendulums. These are energetic entities, institutions, ideologies, trends, religions, social movements, even the algorithm, that exist purely to feed off of your emotional energy and keep you locked into their lifeline, not yours. Pendulums don't care if you're happy. They don't care if the life you're living is actually yours. They just need your energy, specifically your reactive energy. Your anxiety, your outrage, your obsessive hope. Think about doom scrolling. Think about tribalism. Think about the way certain relationships, jobs, or belief systems pull you in and exhaust you even when they're not aligned with who you are. That's a pendulum. Now, what's the move? It's non-engagement. Not resisting. Resistance feeds them. Zeland says that you slide off a pendulum not by fighting it, but by becoming indifferent to it. You stop feeding the machine, and when you do that, your energy comes back to you, and you're free to direct it towards your own lifeline. Here's the mechanism that runs underneath almost everything in the book, and it's the one that took me the longest to really get. Zeland calls it importance, or sometimes excess potential. And the idea is when you assign too much importance to something, a goal, a person, an outcome, you create energetic imbalance. And the universe, like a balancing force of nature, works to correct that imbalance, which usually means eliminating exactly the thing you wanted. And you felt this. You wanted a job so badly that the desperation bleeds into the interview and you don't get it. You meet someone you like so much that you become weird and needy and push them away. You stress about money so hard that the anxiety starts making you worse at making decisions. The wanting itself at high intensity repels the thing. This isn't the same as just don't care. Zeland is careful here. He's not saying be apathetic. He's saying hold your goal lightly. Move towards them with intention, but without desperation. Treat the outcome as already real. Already a done deal somewhere in the space of variations. And your job is simply to walk towards it with calm certainty. The energy shift from grasping to receiving, that's the whole game. Zeland gives you a practical tool for tuning into your desired lifeline, and he calls it the slide. It's basically a vivid, repeated, first-person mental image of your life as it looks once you're already at your goal. Not a vision board, not affirmations, something more immersive. You're inside the image, feeling the texture of it, inhabiting the version of yourself who already lives that. The key distinction Zeland makes is this. Most visualization is done with the energy of longing. You're visualizing from a place of lack, imagining something you don't have. The slide flips that. You're not wishing for a life. You're rehearsing a life that is already yours on another lifeline. and you're using the image to tune your inner frequency to match it. He recommends doing this daily, not just for an hour or just a few minutes. Let the image run like a short film. Feel what it feels like to be that version of you, and then let it go. Crucially, without attachment, without grasping, and then move through your day. Over time, your external reality starts to bend towards what you've been rehearsing internally, not through magic, but through the consistent alignment of your frequency with the lifeline you want to inhabit. Now we get to the most mysterious idea in the book, and the one that connects it most to ancient spiritual traditions. Zeland distinguishes between inner intention and outer intention. Inner intention is willpower. It's the force you apply to make things happen. Push, hustle, grind, and it works, but it's limited. You can only exert so much force before resistance builds up. Outer intention is something else entirely. It's when you align yourself so completely with the lifeline that reality itself begins to move you towards it. Coincidences stack up. The right people appear. Obstacles dissolve with inexplicable ease. Now this sounds mystical, and Zeland doesn't deny that. He compares it to what mystics have called grace, flow, or the Tao. When you're acting from outer intention, you're not forcing reality to comply. You're moving with it. You've tuned so clearly to the frequency of your desired lifeline that the universe is now co-creating with you rather than resisting you. Now, how do we access outer intention? Everything we've talked about. Reduce importance, detach from pendulums, hold your goal with certainty, not desperation. Create the slide, and then let the how be flexible. Only insist on the what and the feeling. Here's where Zeland gets almost Jungian. He says every person has two governing forces, the mind and the soul. The mind is goal-oriented, socially conditioned, and almost always operating from fear or desire, based on what it's been taught to want. The soul is quieter. It communicates through a subtle feeling of rightness or wrongness, what most people call intuition. Most people live almost entirely from the mind. They pursue goals they were handed to them by society, by family, by pendulums, and wonder why, even when they achieve those goals, they still feel empty. Zeland's argument is that the lifeline you actually want to inhabit, the one that feels genuinely yours, this lifeline exists at the intersection of what your soul finds meaningful and what your mind can execute. And you'll know you're on it because there's a particular quality of ease, of rightness, even when things are hard. The discomfort of the wrong lifeline, he says, is unmistakable once you know what to look for. It's a dull, persistent friction, a feeling that you're acting a role rather than living a life. The question isn't what should I pursue? The question is, what does your soul already know, and are you listening to it? So now let's just land all this together. Reality transurfing, at its core, is a model of reality that says you are not a passive passenger on a single fixed track. You are a traveler in an infinite field of lifelines, and you are shifting between them constantly, usually unconsciously. The work is making the movement conscious, unhooking from pendulums that drain your energy, reduce the importance you've placed on outcomes so you stop repelling what you want, and run the slide daily to rehearse the frequency of your desired life. And then lastly, let your soul be a compass, not just your mind. And gradually, sometimes slowly, sometimes with sudden, inexplicable leaps, you'll find yourself living a life that feels like it was built for you. Because according to Zeland, it's already out there, waiting in the space of variations. Your job is just to tune into that frequency. Now, if this landed for you guys and you got some gnosis out of it, drop a comment down below. Let me know if you want me to go in depth with one of these techniques or one of the techniques that he talks about in the book. And like, subscribe, share with someone that this would resonate with. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.